Hello everybody, I am back with a short video. This is going to be very brief just because I do have a lot that I'm working on at the moment. I haven't really been on here a lot. I've taken kind of a little bit of a break from my Penn name. I just kind of needed a little bit of a mental health break after kind of stretching myself a little bit too thin on some of my most recent projects, and mentally it just wasn't really a good idea, and I knew that I needed to kind of take a step back and work on some other things, just some fun things. I don't know if you guys are aware, but I do have a second pen name. It is Penn Cassidy. So I've been working on some projects under that pen name just because, they're little fun side projects that I don't take too seriously. And I feel like I've just needed that. But I have taken a little bit of a break just to kind of get myself a little bit more mentally, I don't even know, mentally healthy, I guess. I've been making sure that I keep up on my therapy appointments, I'm taking my depression medication, and, I'm not ashamed about being clinically diagnosed with depression and anxiety. It's something that a lot of us actually share, I believe. And I've noticed on Facebook that there are a lot of authors who are also struggling with these issues right now, with feeling depressed, feeling unmotivated, and feeling so much pressure from readers and other authors alike to meet all these crazy deadlines that we set for ourselves. And I'm definitely one of those people who sets crazy deadlines for myself. When I get into a manic episode, or when I just feel unreasonably productive, I'll wake up one day and I'll be in a good mood, and I'll set these unrealistic goals for myself, only to turn around and the next day I just have no will to do any type of work or anything towards that goal. And then eventually deadlines come up and they come and go and we don't meet them, and the cycle starts over again. And I know that a lot of other authors are suffering with the same problem that I'm suffering with right now. And I see it a lot on Facebook. People are postponing their pre-orders, they're postponing their deadlines because it's just not doable sometimes. And that's okay. I feel like us authors need to realize that, yes, we are writing for our readers, but we're also writing for ourselves. And I've seen it happen a lot of times when authors are working on a book series. When they're working on book 1, 2, and 3 of a book series, they feel a lot of pressure from their readers to get out that second book, to close out the series. And I just think that's such a shame. These days I feel like, and don't get mad at me for saying this, but personally I do feel like there are some readers out there that are growing a little bit too comfortable speaking to authors the way that they speak to them on social media, or leaving horrible reviews for the fact that the second book isn't out already. I've seen it so many times. I've seen authors give up entirely on finishing a series altogether because their readers are just demanding more and more and more of them. That's not humanly possible to give within the span of time that they're asking for. And it makes me really sad. And this has actually happened to me a couple times too, where, I will finish a book and it's number 1 in a series, and a month after I publish that book, I'm already getting hounded by readers for the second book. And I understand the enthusiasm. I love the enthusiasm. I like the fact that people are interested and that they want more of the story. And, it's a good feeling knowing that people are that invested in your work. But for readers, I feel like you have to understand that authors are human beings too. And just like you, we are going through the exact same things that everybody else is going through right now. We are in a worldwide pandemic where people are losing family members, people are losing jobs, people are running out of motivation and energy to get things done in the time frame that they normally would get things done. And I think people need to take that into consideration. So personally, I have sort of reevaluated the way that I approach things like that. I have been setting timelines for myself that are a little bit more realistic. I have made sure that I've worked on being more open and upfront with my readers, telling them, this is the reality of my writing these days. This is the reality of my life and where I am at mentally. So if you are expecting me to just churn out book after book, month after month in rapid releases, then that's not really going to be a realistic timeline. And if that's what you're expecting, then you're going to be very disappointed. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be a jerk to readers or anything like that. I'm just trying to convey that there's a whole other side to writing books that you might not realize, and you might not realize how important it is that authors stay mentally healthy and motivated to write these books. If an author is feeling like they are not motivated to write these books, then they're not going to produce quality content. They're just going to start writing nonsense in order to just get those words down and just to get a book published, and you're not going to like the results. quality content happens when an author has motivation and the will to write. When they actually want to work on the project, that is when you're going to get quality content. So just, for readers, just keep that in mind, that, you may be reading book 1 in a series and book 2 is not out yet. Maybe it doesn't have a pre-order date yet, but just realize that authors are working hard to get that out for you. They do want to get the second book out for you, but sometimes life gets in the way. Sometimes circumstance gets in the way, and you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. And it's such a shame that sometimes that does affect sales as well. I've had a series that I've written before where people straight up told me that they were not going to buy it until it was completed. And it's a little bit disheartening for an author to hear, because what some people might not understand about writing a series is that a lot of times we're taking a huge chance when we do put the first book out there. We have no idea if that book is going to hit or if it's going to miss. So if I wait 3 years working on a 4-book series, for instance, and then I just rapid release them back to back, and then the first book bombs and nobody reads it, then I just wasted 3 years of my life writing a book series that nobody is going to read, when I could have been writing another project. I could have published the first book and seen how that first book took off, seen if people liked it or not, and known whether or not it was going to be worth my time to finish the series. So when you read the first book in a series, you have to realize that when you review that book, when you share that book with your friends, when you leave the author feedback, it lets that author know directly whether or not it is going to be worth their time to read to write the second book. And there have also been times where I have started to write a book series, and I did notice that the book either didn't do so well or didn't do well enough for me to justify a second book. So I ended up turning it into a standalone, or I just left it as it was. But yeah, you kind of have to take that into consideration when you are book shopping, that you can't just demand that writers write an entire 4-book saga, this massive series of books, and just have it completed every time. It's just not realistic for the average writer who does rely on self-publishing or, sometimes traditional publishing to make a living. I personally write a lot of standalones for this exact reason. I write a lot of very long standalones because sometimes the book is just not going to do as well as you think it's going to do. And after that, you just kind of have to accept it and then move on. So yeah, I feel like people just need to realize that and kind of cut us authors some slack. And on the author side, if you are a self-published author who is really struggling right now with feeling like the dreaded imposter syndrome, I know I felt that, a million times. You feel like all these authors are just zooming on ahead of you and you're nowhere near the success level that they're at, and there's no way you're ever going to catch up to them and what they've accomplished. I have felt that so deep, so many times, and it's such a difficult feeling because without stepping back and realizing that you're not the only one who's feeling that, you can feel like such a failure. And especially, during this whole pandemic, during the whole year of 2020, I've seen plenty of authors publishing all these books and getting a lot of fans interested in their books and talking about it online. And, sometimes it can be a little bit disheartening as a writer watching all of these other authors succeed and everything. But then you kind of have to take a step back and realize that you need to be happy for these authors, and you can't let it bring you down personally, that none of it can bring you down personally. We are all on a different, we are all in a different place in our lives right now. And, I think we just kind of need to take a step back from the competition, and we need to stop viewing other authors as competition and people that we need to keep up with. We don't really need to keep up with the Joneses. You need to write at your own pace. You need to produce quality work. Don't just rush through something just so that you can say that you published a book. You're not a failure. Just because you haven't published a book in 2020, or if you have been stuck on a manuscript, if you've hit writer's block, if you've taken a long break, if you're on hiatus, you're not a failure just because you're not keeping up with the other authors. People write on their own terms. There are some authors that maybe they didn't even write these stories in 2020. They could have been writing it for the entirety of 2019, and now their book is finally ready, and so they're publishing it in 2020. You don't know people's circumstances, So I think the point of this video is just, I wanted to give a quick, a quick advice to those authors that are really struggling right now with trying to produce quality content and trying to make sure that they don't stop writing entirely, and the people that don't want to let down their readers. Take your time. those readers are still going to be there in the end. They're still going to be there in 2021 when you finally have a manuscript to produce. You don't need to rush through it. You don't need to feel like a failure just because you haven't gotten anything out this year yet. Take your time, focus on yourself mentally, and don't stress yourself out, because in the end, when you do publish that book, the readers are going to appreciate the quality content so much more than you just getting words on a page. And I think it took me a really long time to realize that quality content is always going to be valued a lot more than just quick, snappy stories that don't have any substance to them because I just wanted to shove them out into the world to say that I published something. In the end, it's just going to be worth it to take your time. And you're going to feel happier about it too. I mean, you're not going to feel like you rushed through something. You're going to feel more proud of your work. And isn't that what we all want in the end, is we want to feel proud of the work that we produce. So yeah, I mean, I hope everybody's doing fine right now. I mean, I know there's been a lot of turmoil going on, you know, election season, and everybody's emotions are just kind of all over the place right now. And, you know, even myself, I'm supposed to be publishing a book in a couple weeks. And while I still will be, I can admit that I've been a little bit lax on my work, and I've just been taking mental health break after mental health break because, you know, it gets to you after a while. It's hard out there these days. It's hard. And for all those people that are still working on their passions and that are still, you know, getting those words down on the page, I honestly commend you for that. And, you know, I just want to let you guys know that you're doing a fantastic job. If you can still do things, if you can still leave reality for a little while and create another reality on a page, if the entire 2020 you only wrote 200 words, I'm still proud of you. You did an amazing job. You did something that so many other people can't do. And you're creating something exactly just unique to yourself. And you should be proud of that. And it's taken a while for me to learn that I should be proud of what I have created as well. And I'm no longer competing with anybody. I'm not going to compete with anybody but myself. And that's where my turnaround is finally happening. And I feel better in general about the content that I am producing. So yeah, I mean, that's all I really have today. I do kind of have to get back to work, but I just wanted to wish everybody well and just give you guys this short video just to kind of let you know that I know you're all tired of hearing it, but you know, we are all in this together. We're all struggling the same struggles. They might not be exactly the same struggles, but we're here. We understand. I understand where you're coming from, and just know that it's not just you. And it will get better. It absolutely will get better. And this year isn't going to go on forever. It's actually going to end very soon. We are almost at the home stretch, and I have a very good feeling about 2021. So, yeah, I wish all of you guys the best luck, and just keep writing, just keep doing your thing, just keep doing what you love, do anything to make yourself happy, because that's honestly what's most important right now. So yeah, there's those words of wisdom, but take it however you may. But I will probably be making another video here in a couple weeks, or a week or a couple weeks, whenever I have the time. But yeah, I'll check in with you guys later on. If you don't follow me on here, definitely check out my Facebook. I am under Penn, Cassidy, and KM Rhea. All the links will be down below in the description. So yeah, I will see you guys later.